Welcome to this episode of How to Run a Successful Business and Still Have a Life. My name is Stacey Morgan, and this episode is brought to you by the Simply Business Summit. If you want a great Christmas present for yourself, the ultimate Christmas present for yourself, then send your hubby or send your significant other or send your family to simplystacymorgan.com to book your spot for our Simply Business Summit, which is happening next June and July. And I say June and July, it's not the whole month. It's a 3-day event. So it happens for the last 2 days of June and the 1st of July in the beautiful Palm Cove, tropical North Queensland. Just think, you working on your business vision, goal setting, marketing and messaging, and having a little bit of self-care and cocktails by the pool time as well. That sounds like a pretty good present. Get yourself sorted or get your family to get you sorted right now at simplystacymorgan.com. Today's episode, we are going to tackle the letter G out of braving, which today we've already gone through over the last couple of episodes, the BRAVIN, and now we're tackling G, and G is for generosity. And so talking about generosity in terms of your business, it's really important that when it comes to your business, you are generous. You do bring your most generous self to work. And I'm not talking about generous like you're going to let your entire team live in your house and you're going to give all the money that you have to, your people. And I'm talking about generosity of spirit. I'm talking about generosity of intention. I'm talking about generosity in terms of words and actions. So Brene Brown's definition of this is you extend the most generous interpretation possible to the intentions, words, and actions of others. So it's all about being generous with what you have to give and also being generous when receiving. So in our business, generosity turns up as being present, being there and trying our best, giving our best, giving it a really good shot. So kind of not half-assing stuff. It's about being honest. It's about being there for each other. It's about standing up for each other. It's about supporting each other and making sure that, when someone's having a bad day and they happen to, to get you with a zinger, that, you're generous with that thought and that action that came out, and you give them the benefit of the doubt and you have the brave conversation with them and go, hey, are you okay? Because that was really out of character for you to say something like that. And being able to have those, brave conversations and get stuck into it with your team. It's about serving. So many of us are in business because we are here to serve. So many of our services and products serve others. And that's, our business is so heavily reliant on that service and that generosity. It's also about telling the truth and being really truthful with your words and actions as part of your business. And, so many of the elements of trust that we've talked about from Brene Brown's Dare to Lead in the last couple of episodes are all about, being truthful with those words and actions, standing up for each other, talking to each other, being truthful with each other, having brave conversations. It all kind of links together and all, I think, comes together as part of this generosity element. So it's important to think about your business and your team and the people that you have that are coming in and out, the customers that you have within your business. We talk a lot in business about your target market and attracting the right people, making sure that the marketing that you're doing is acquiring people who are your right clientele, because they're, if you've got an abundance mindset, there are plenty of people and plenty of products out there, and there is enough for everybody. But we talk a lot about the importance of making sure the people that you have coming in are the right people. And often a really big red flag is if you have a customer that is in your organization, that is part of your customer base, that doesn't give you that generous interpretation of words and actions. If something happens to the product and it's not exactly what they expected, and you're accountable and you tell them you're sorry that it's not lived up to their expectations, and they still blow up and absolutely tear you or the person at your front desk an absolute new one, and then storm out of the building and then get on Facebook and have a rant there as well, get on thumbs up, thumbs down, and gosh, isn't that just the worst? They're not your people. And what you want to be doing by building that culture within your organization of generosity is you then if you do it well, you hope that it feeds out to the rest of your community and builds the culture within the community that you're building as part of your organization as well, so that people who are more likely not to be generous with their words and actions and intentions, they're not going to be attracted to coming to your shop. They're not going to be attracted to buying your product online. They're not your people. And by doing it yourself and practicing it yourself and practicing it with your team, being honest, doing your best, standing up for each other, serving well, doing all of those things, that is going to serve you in the long run, because there's going to be a flow-on effect from that. Your customers are going to feel that. And if they don't align with that, they're going to find somewhere else to shop. And that's often a good thing. I'll say that again. That's a good thing when we lose customers for that reason. I know it's hard to swallow, especially if you're early in business and every single customer you want to hold on to really tightly with both hands. Sometimes it's better to let them go. Sometimes they can be more trouble than they're worth. And if they are not being generous with their thoughts and their actions and their behavior, then you definitely don't want them jumping in and causing trouble within your organization. What movie? Strictly Ballroom is what I'm thinking of right now. One bad egg can rot the whole barrel. I know. How Australian was that? Thank you. I hope our overseas listeners enjoyed how ochre I went just then. But, it's so true. We get one bad customer, and not only is that person difficult to deal with, and that person is the person that's, behaving poorly in the foyer, but that person is often the person that's then having the conversations and kind of feeding their poison into all of our other beautiful, loyal customers who we love and who adore us and who haven't had a problem up until now. And that's often dangerous to have around as well. So you want to make sure that those customers that don't align with your purpose, that don't align with your values, that aren't your target market, are given many, many great opportunities to step aside. I have a podcast with Ree Gold. It's called Ree Gold's Dance Life. And when I first met Ree, he talked about having on hand a letter that you write that has recommendations for all the other people that do what you do, so that when you get one of those customers, you can very politely and very, tactfully encourage them to go seek somebody else's services. And then you give them the letter that has the list of other people's phone numbers and other people's websites, so they can go and find somebody else to annoy and somebody else to be with. And that's really stuck with me over the years, because it's been so valuable in business, knowing that I don't have to hold on to every single customer, especially if they are not behaving in a generous way, if they are not serving with generosity, because they're not our people. They don't need to hang around. So we've spent the last couple of episodes talking about Brene Brown's 7 elements of trust: braving, boundaries, reliability, accountability, the vault, integrity, non-judgment, and generosity. And all of these are outlined in great detail in Dare to Lead. And if you haven't read Dare to Lead yet, I encourage you to go to your favorite bookstore and get yourself a copy, because the 7 elements of trust can really be game changers when it comes to your business. They can be game changers when it comes to your organization, building a culture that is going to withstand so many of the challenges. And, this year, as we head towards the end of the year, we have an opportunity to reflect on this year and what's worked and what hasn't worked and what's been good and what's been awful. And there's been a fair share of all of those things. And, as we're reflecting on those things, it's important to know that when we get the 7 elements of trust right, and we don't all get it right all the time, but when we're working towards it all of the time, then when we have big years and big challenges and things that come up that are really testing us, we have something to hold on to. We have this framework that we can keep going back to. We have these foundations in place that we've been working on, which can really that can be make or break for businesses. It can keep you together or it can split you apart. And I know that throughout the last 2 years, there have been many situations where we haven't done in our business the 7 elements of trust well, where I haven't done it well as a leader and where we haven't done it well as an organization. And it's really cost us. It's cost us financially. It's cost us emotionally. It's definitely cost us in terms of time and resources. And I think, the further as we move forward and as we work harder to continue to improve in our business, the more we can sink into these 7 elements of trust, and the more that we can use these words and use this language and this dialogue as our communication with our team and our customers, the better off we'll be. And the easier, hopefully, these big challenges will be as they come flying at us in the future. And I encourage you to reflect if you've had one of those years and if you've had challenges and you've had, relationships that have broken down, things that have gone not particularly well, things that could have gone better. I encourage you to reflect on the 7 elements of trust and where you feel you're doing well and where you feel that you can do better in your business in order to make sure that you are doing as much as you can to build up the people around you, to serve the people around you so that they can go on to serve your customers and go on to live out the vision that you have for yourself and for your business. And on that note, I want to wish everyone the most merriest of Merry Christmases. It's been a big year, and I hope that you're going to be able to find time this Christmas to be able to sit down and reflect on exactly how much you've achieved and how far you've come and what you've worked through, and those times where stuff's been really tough. I hope you have time to sit and reflect and to spend time playing Lego on the floor with your family, or swimming in the pool with your best friends, or having a glass of wine and cheersing, not just to the new year and to the holiday season, but to yourself and to everything that you've been able to achieve in this really, really challenging couple of months. I hope you get to spend lots of time with your family. I hope you get to spend lots of time reflecting on what you're going to do better for next year. And our next episode, which will be the last one for this year, will be going into goal setting and into making sure that you are setting yourself up for success for next year. If you've enjoyed this episode and all of the episodes on the 7 elements of trust, please make sure you share them with your business bestie. Make sure you leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, and make sure you have subscribed as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, take a photo and stick it on your Insta story and tag me and tag your business bestie so that we can share the podcast with lots of other people. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a very happy holiday. Enjoy the break, and I will talk to you next week.